Bifrost versus NYYRIKKI. The second team to last versus the second team to first, I would say. Bifrost versus NYYRIKKI.
So, this was going to be an interesting one because Bifrost are coming in very hot, and NYYRIKKI are a team which have typically, we keep bringing this back because it seems to keep being relevant, they struggle to hit the ground running on new patches, on new adaptation kind of circuits, right? So I'm looking at this NYYRIKKI team. They have to adapt to this new patch. They're going to have to do a lot of work to do that. I'm just hoping it's not too far back to square one for them, because on the other side of Bifrost, it felt like actually, as much as you could take away the patch, they're always going to do the same thing. They're going to give you a heart attack and somehow win all the same.
and you know, I think we had news of 12-10 right around the same kind of time that the Bifrost roster got announced. And immediately I thought, this is the kind of patch that Bifrost are probably going to thrive on. Because,
team fights.
Because it's just team fights, team fights, late game. And not to say that Bifrost are inherently, you know, bad early games, but they didn't exactly always have the best track record last split. And I think their track record was far better suited to sort of post 25 minutes on. And so far throughout the day, it seems like the games are going a little bit longer. The drafts are tending to be a lot more front to back. And I think that suits players like Odie and Fury, who would much more prefer to probably, you know, get their hands on the later game carries. And I think for players like Diamond Rocks, obviously, who is historically one of the most aggressive junglers to just grace the Summoner's Rift, linking up with Highway, I think it's going to be a great sort of philosophy and playstyle for them to play in, where Diamond Frogs is just attacking lanes or supplementing these scaling lanes, and then Fury and Odie get to play the game 20 minutes on.
That's where things get interesting for me, because I feel like the lanes of Bifrost, they'd like this patch.
Yeah.
Now, Diamond has played in pretty much has played in every meta imaginable. He's been around for all of them. The question is, if he does want to keep playing aggressively and doesn't want to bend that style right now, does he still have the same agency to do that? That's what I'm looking for next.
I want to step in the conversation because it's quite easy to talk about Bifrost, the way they're winning and all that with Diamond Procs and Highway now on the bot side. But I want to talk about the core strength of NYYRIKKI. We also need to look into this team. A team with Banderas on the top side, Flipper in the jungle, Hado in the middle, and Azitor and Nabagnale on the bot side. Where should we look into this matchup in favor of NYYRIKKI? Because it's easy to look into Bifrost.
I think actually this patch kind of favors them too when we get to it. I mean, last split they were playing around a lot of stuff like Trundle, playing towards against some slower team fights. Now, their top lane champion pool was a little bit limited in the last split, but I think this time Banderas has a larger pool than what we saw Patoshka pull in terms of like the meta team fight front to back stuff. So I think that's one side. And then for me, the absolute core of this, the engine is that bot lane. Azitor was my bot lane MVP for spring. I thought this guy was incredible. That was largely based on a lot of Aphelios performances. That was probably his best champion. Have to see him then transfer that over to different champions. I think, though, if this comes down to slower team fights, when you have an AD carry of this caliber, I think that NYYRIKKI can really play through this bot side. I think that's something that they can work with.
So if NYYRIKKI wins this one, they can run away from that bottom of the standings. Meanwhile, Bifrost could join JDXL as undefeated so far on week 2, day 3. Without further ado, let's jump into Champion Select to see how these teams are going to navigate on this new patch. Durability patch. I don't know if you guys tried it out back at home. It's quite interesting, I would say, but also share with us how you're watching the scene at hashtag NLC at home. Share us a photo. Where are you watching? With who? How? Why? Just hit us on Twitter and we'll show you. Why are you watching? I want someone to say, because I want to learn the new patch, maybe. I want to see those things.
So do we, actually. That's
yeah, we would also like to
that'd be pretty fun.
Be able to do our job a little bit, I think.
Wukong is available.
As much as it's fun being like, oh, I've heard this champion strong, it's just like, we are coming down to now, later into the day, same kind of champions cropping up again and again. I think the GP's been a real standout. One was all the way through MSI, has only gotten stronger on this patch. This time, still going to be the Gwen hitting that ban list, and we are left once again with Wukong there. Lucian's left unbanned. That's something that we haven't seen in all day.
Nope. Entire day completely banned, yeah.
But Talir was red side. I was like, where's the Talir?
Where's the Talir?
First one, my first one, okay.
And I mean, Odie loves Lucian, regardless of what the patch is. So we're going to see it locked in. And even if I recall, if memory serves me right, Fury isn't too bad at it, but obviously Lucian these days much more catered towards the bottom lane, and with the Ahri lock-in, and we now do get the confirmation of where that will be going.
I know this is...
Oh no, he's going to...
I'd like to take a moment to sell you something which isn't snake oil. I genuinely
sure?
believe ADRE is better than APRE on this patch. Now, if you want a mini Zeri in the mid lane that can keep chasing you down,
You've gone to NYYRIKKI.
there
Pick
is
their third champion.
Look, I'm just saying, there is an option. We'll keep it on the table.
Yep.
So let's just keep it on that. So obviously we haven't seen like first pick, first ban, like Ari kind of in the games today. It's definitely not as strong as that last patch because you don't have the same assassination potential. With the Lissandra being shown at MSI as well, particularly with something like Wukong, you actually have a lot of threat onto Ari in the 2v2, which you're not used to in a lot of mid jungles. We have to now see Bifrost say, okay, we have learned from seeing these teams do this at MSI. What have we then got as a response to it?
I'll have to let him be a little bit happy before I add on to your point.
Yeah.
Can I take a little bit of your time? It's
You're
not
doing this for
snake
attention.
oil, by the way.
Doing this for attention, you know what? It's working. Keep doing it.
It is working. Keep covering the Pantheon.
Yeah, I'm expecting Diamondprox to lean on the Viego here, or even something a little more different, perhaps.
Be very T1.
This
Very T1. So this is actually why the Renata pick is very important. So if you go back to MSI now, my home away from home, the LGL, they played a lot of Lucian with Renata. That was something that they played. It was still very lane dominant. If you have teamfight presence, it's still got the enchanter bonus of like having that buff of the bailout, having that with Lucian. So if you take that away, you know it kind of has to be the Nami. Those are the only two aggressive lane dominant pairings you have. Forces Highway into playing that Nami, which we haven't seen was playing a lot of that Nautilus last week.
Yeah, actually, that's a pretty good point. Highway, I think both his games are on Nautilus, right? So we now get to see him on the Nami. Strong bot lane, as we already know. And now they're also going to have the opportunity to just ban away 2 AD carries that they don't want to have to deal with.
Hogmore and Jinx.
Hogmore, I expect.
Well, they locked in the second AD carry of Ari in the mid lane. So,
Yeah.
you know, all of this is working out for them.
I said B3 on the Ricky Nymera, all right? You've had your time. But yeah, I think that's a good call, Archer. I think Jinx is probably the second ban here. Or actually, okay, cheeky. They're going to actually take away the Twitch.
I was hearing a lot about Twitch, actually.
Yeah.
Because again, Twitch was a champion that struggled to get through laning phase. Now, when you have the Renata, it's already a speed up. Twitch loves movement speed boost. He's running down lane, getting that buff, he goes invisible, just shoots down into a lane. Something like a Lissandra, something like a Wukong. These are both setup champions. Having something big teamfight impact like the Cogmore or the Twitch, obviously something that has a lot of value. Question is, what else do you have at that point that can really start coming into it? I'm actually thinking something like Jinx is probably on the table again. It's just doing Jinx into the Lucian Nami can be rough.
We've seen how that lane can go. And on many occasions, it's not very pleasant for the Jinx player. But Azator knows his Jinx very well. We'll see what he ends up doing. I think for me right now, I want to see Bifrost probably still take the Viego unless they have something else up their sleeve. I think it's still probably the strongest available jungler from what we've seen from today's game sample sizes, and that will be locked in. And I'm very curious that NYYRIKKI were going for 2 top lane bans, Renekton and Gnar. I wonder if they're just gonna go Camille with that in mind, because I mean, realistically, you would have thought, okay, they don't have Diamondprox as champion here. Diamondprox is probably going to be the catalyst for a lot of the early game playmaking, so I was expecting them to ban away 2 junglers. But there's the expected Jinx pick. Honestly, I think they're probably just going to go Camille and just look for a little more scaling from that front, a little more additional lockdown and dive, because they already have it from Wukong and Liz.
Mobile on Bifrost side as well. That's the extra bonus to that. Now Nami's the fish out of water in that sense. You don't really have any ability to kind of disengage from a Camille as easily. But already looking at this, it gives you another engage option. It gives you lots of setup, and all of this setup is working towards the Jinx. Now, on the side of Bifrost, you don't have the same level of setup. You have this probably is going to be. I mean, that'll be fun. That is actually a very strong pick in the current meta. We'll see from what we've been hearing anyway. But we look at this Bifrost team, and that there is huge emphasis on Fury doing huge work with an Everfrost, which is not my favorite item of all time, but this is very much Ari and Nami setting up for everyone else to start running through this team. Bifrost need to be playing very, very heavily towards these 2 champions with a lot of setup for their real damage carries.
And we've seen Jinx throughout the entire day going for the Kraken Slayer. Do you go versus an Olaf with the Kraken, or are you forced to go with the Gale Force? Because if he throws an axe at your face, you cannot move. With a Nami buffing as well? Are you okay? What? No. Wait,
they called the draft.
They did it? They did it?
Okay, unless the draft gets remade.
It's an Ari AD carry or AP, whatever it is. Lucian in the mid lane?
Okay, no. Yeah, there must have been a bug. I don't think they could swap in Champ Select. That would be my best guess. Otherwise, I think we would have seen Olaf in the top lane into the Camille. I guess we will just wait on production for that one. But the expectation should have been Ahri mid,
About to
Olaf
say,
top, Viego jungle.
They swapped?
Production,
what side?
save
Yeah.
us.
They swapped what? Where's Olaf?
there is nothing quite as unnerving as being in this situation and hearing like quite vague things through your earpiece.
Yeah.
Like they swapped them like,
Where's Olaf?
Ooh.
In the Summoner's Rift. I know that.
Thank you.
Which lane?
what are their coordinates?
What? I know where he is. He's in the Summoner's Rift, and I'm going to toss it to Hipbrain alongside with Trouble. There you go, being as
so
fake as
sorry,
I can
guys.
be.
I'm so
Olaf, baby!
I'm not sorry.
He knows where he is. Do you know where Olaf is?
I have no idea where anybody is. I don't even know where I am. Where am I? Oh my word. Well, we're getting ready to go into our 5th game. I am just as confused as everyone else. So I'm
still a
excited to get into the game to find out where the hell people are. I hope that we get Ahri bot lane for NYYRIKKI's sake.
I'm still trying to figure out where Olaf is, man.
Well, we're about to find out. Let's go to the game. Woo!
I think he might be in the Summoner's Rift. I have an inkling we might see an Olaf
I'm pretty sure.
in this game.
I would put money on we're going to see an Olaf here. Where we're going to see an Olaf, I'm not going to put money on that. Our 5th game here of day 1.
I'm going to guess top lane.
You're going to guess top lane?
I'm gonna
guess top lane as well.
You can't now. I guessed it first.
I said I wouldn't put money on it.
It's been a long day.
It has been a long day. The tail end's been pretty long as well, the games themselves. It is Olaf top lane for Shikari, by the way. Oh my god, that back is
Azita.
absolutely crazy.
All right.
League Legends, let's go.
League of Legends. Let's have a look at both of the compositions because I am a humongous fan of what NYYRIKKI have drafted for themselves. All the peeling, all the crowd control, all the area control, all the engage, all the disengage, and that's all so one man can shine. And this is Azita on his well-known, infamous Jinx. This guy was complimented by all of us here in the NLC so much. His stats, once he got out of lane, were out of this roof. I think a lot of us, I think Namera said it as well. Out of this roof.
Out of this roof in particular.
Yeah, because it's quite a tall roof.
I mean, it's like,
Keep right.
probably a good 17 foot, I'd say. Pretty tall roof.
All right, so Azita.
Azita, out of this roof, Azita.
See, I didn't want to say roof in general because it would take the average height, and that might be like shorter than this one, you know?
It depends if you live in like a
An igloo?
Victorian English home. Actually, has quite low roofs.
There you go. So I just want to make him look like huge carry because that's what Azita is. So again, everything has been drafted around him so he can shine, provided that he gets out of laning phase. Talking about laning phase, Odi, also one of the best AD carries that we have in the NLC, that we had in the NLC last split as well. I think Odi was probably the best AD carry
Yep.
we had. And now he has a lot more competition. But again, Nami, Lucian, bot lane, one of the most oppressive, aggressive bot lanes you can face. These two guys can actually kill you 2 versus 2. This is why I also for Azita, provided that he survives this laning phase, he can be a big problem.
Very
for
popular,
Bifrost.
very popular lane join MSI. I'm curious to see how it will handle the current patch of Shikari. Remember, Olaf, lower you get him, the faster he attacks. He has some sustain in there as well. I'm curious how you guys are sustaining yourself at home. How good am I at these? Let's see what's going on
Wow.
for all the guys at home.
Cheers.
I saw this one earlier. It's Reed. By the way, Reed is our Division 2 producer. So hello, Reed. Nice to see that you're enjoying your holiday by working.
Watching NLC from Finland with the boys, to me, it seems like he's having a lot of fun.
Yeah, he's
With
got
the
a
boys.
glass of water. A good fun glass of water, Trouble. Nothing says you're on the buzz. Like half a
Like
glass
a
of
glass
water. He
of
drank a lot of that water as
I was
well,
about
so
to
he's
say, he's
already
drunk-
vibing.
He's drunk a lot of that, so he must have been having a lot of fun. Was that half empty or half full?
I'm going to say half empty because he's on holiday and he's living it up.
Oh, you're such a pessimist. You know what?
I hope there's a good toilet in Finland, mate, because you drank a lot of water.
All right, I'm going to jump over to Bifrost's composition to stop your brain from talking more shit in this cast. Right, so First thing we saw locked in was the Namilution, of course, in the bot lane and Ahri in the mid lane. And
Oh my word!
Whoa!
I know it does damage, but it always gets me off guard.
And these two lanes are honestly very strong individual lanes, both the 2v2, but also Ahri as an individual in the mid lane. So I honestly expected Diamond Procs to go for a more proactive early game jungler.
Yeah.
Sort of give some sort of setup to these lanes, follow up through with it. And now I know that Lee Sin is no longer like this jungler that a lot of junglers will gravitate towards. They will go towards the Viego more, but I just wanted a little bit more proactivity. Like even potentially the Olaf being swapped into the jungle and Viego towards the top side of the map, I wouldn't really mind it due to the fact that Olaf can run you down, can take your flash, yada, yada, yada. Now, if you look on the other side, I think Flipper and Aero have really nice setup together. You can make, you can CC the Ahri for so long. You can shut down Fury onto that champion. And we've seen a lot of times when Fury previously in Spring was getting punished, it was really difficult for him to let Ron play the game.
Looks like Diamond Procs just going to lose some of his chicken nuggets, but able to get the little ones at least. And looks like actually a couple of people actually chilling here in the mid lane. Fury needs to be careful as he's caught out by the root. Into the handshake, into the monkey bop. Fury has nowhere to go. First blood to NYYRIKKI in the mid.
Was that cast a curse?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So that's exactly the setup you can have when you've got Lissandra mid. Aero was literally 0 mana at that point. He had used the Q, he had used the claw, he had used the W. Didn't have mana for any other spell, didn't have the cooldown obviously for any other spell, but also didn't have any more mana, but it doesn't matter because it was a really beautiful roam from Abagnale from the bot side of the map since the Jinx is playing at the tower. Azure is under no pressure at all. Really great roam right there from the support of NYYRIKKI. They burn no summoners whatsoever. And Fury also very crucial doesn't burn his flash, which means that now he's level 5. Once he's level 6, he's going to be extremely slippery. He's going to have his flash up and available as well, so he's not going to be able to be easily caught.
Alrighty, well, we're 5 minutes in. Gold lead not too big at this point, but nice roam from NYYRIKKI just to set up. Obviously, Fury not quite level 6. Once that Spirit Rush comes through, it's way harder to
CS
set that up.
behind. 20.
That is a big CS lead. I did not even notice that CS lead, actually. That is horrifically bad as Shikari.
Yeah, you don't win
What?
those. Yeah,
You just won that.
Yeah, welcome to the new Olaf, baby.
Oh my word.
You do not win those when the Olaf drops low on HP. You do not win those. If you see Olaf low HP, you do not want to be around him. He also had the Ignite. Shikari really well played right there with the Ghost as well to chase down Banderas. And there was actually like no chance. As you can see, Shikari is level 5 right here. So Banderas is... he's fancying his chances, but right there, if you look at Shikari, he will throw that axe to get that level 6, and once that ultimate has been popped, the Camille has absolutely no chance. It's also really difficult to sort of calculate when you're gonna press R with Camille. Most likely to dodge either an E or a Q thrown at you. And I think even though Banderas did that successfully, it just was not enough.
That was, yeah, that was new LF, by the way, guys. Ignite Ghost as well, burnt there. Got that Ragnarok up and available as well, so quite hard to handle for the moment. This bot lane also something pretty hard to handle. You can see Azator actually down in farm to Odie. Has got a large wave crashing in, but Odie just really, really tough with this Electrocute Nami, because remember, you can proc that Electrocute as the Lucian. When you get the E on you, it's rough. It's very, very rough playing into it. And Odie obviously able to use it to the best of his ability here to be able to accrue himself a pretty healthy lead in the bot side of the map.
I would say that we've seen a lot of proactive and a lot of reactive bot laners today. We've seen the Ashe together with the Lulu, we've seen the Kog'Maw together with the Lulu, and once that bot lane manages to play their waves properly, whoa, Aero, that was close. Once the bot lane manages to play the waves properly to the point where you do not have to overextend to either crush a wave or defend your wave, then we are seeing some glimpses of hope, especially in the game versus JDXL that we saw earlier. But also here, Azure and Abagnale are not overextending in the lane when they're in danger, when they know the Namilution combo is around. Abagnale did have also a very well done gank in the mid lane to take down Fury as well. So again, we've talked about Azator for so long. Oddi, let's say, is the king of AD carries in the bot lane, but Azator could very well be the guy that's chasing after him, whilst also not playing in a high skill level of a team as Oddi was.
Yeah.
Because Oddi came straight back from EU Masters, made it all the way to quarterfinals, right? But we've always been talking about Azator, and does he get out of this lane without dying? he could be a huge threat to Bifrost.
Quick thing to kind of note as well, if Bifrost lose this to NYYRIKKI, that means XL are, XL are very confidently given over first place in the standings, at least for the end of today, which is, you know, not what they want. They want to stay tied, they want to stay competitive with XL. Remember, JDXL, honestly, a disappointing last split. So they're looking to bounce back. Bifrost, pretty bloody good split, if we're going to be honest, as the culling comes down. Minions eat the majority of it. So NYYRIKKI going to be okay with that one. It looks like they're just going to rotate out. Diamond Prox has got his hands on to that Rift Herald, so we'll see where they decide to place that down, because that's obviously going to be the big one.
I would assume that you go towards the bot side of the map, right? You want to definitely unlock your Lucian Nami combo, take them towards the mid lane, take them towards the the top lane. Try to take them wherever you can in the early game, because that electrocute is going to deal a lot of damage. Everyone is squishy earlier on. They don't have any defenses built up to them. They don't have any extra HP, apart from like the durability patch HP that you get extra right now. And I think this is exactly what Diamond Prox and Fury want to do. Obviously, right here, they don't necessarily have to dive. All they have to do is rotate 4 members towards the bot side of the Rift, put that Rift Herald down, and make sure Nabagnel and Azitar are completely deprived of the experience and farm. This is not going to be the case. Lissandra is a very fast-pushing champion, so you definitely want to make sure, nice flash from Highway right there, you want to make sure that you don't allow Lissandra to also take plates in the mid lane while you're on.
Almost on the highway to hell, but able to dodge away as Abagnale loses so much health. Flipper's trying to jump forward, he flashes in, gets himself the Cyclone off. The hostile takeover not going to land. And Bifrost getting away from something that they started, and that was close either way.
Yeah, nice exchange of a bunch of summoners right here. 3 from one side, 3 from the other, sorry, 4 from the other, because Flipper used his flash as well right there. But it is going to be the NYYRIKKI bot lane, because Flipper is staying around. He's helping Azure to push in the wave. I don't know if they're going to allow now Highway to freeze the wave right there. Flipper is going to try to shove that in, but obviously he's like melee. I don't know if he's going to be able to do that. Nope. It's going to actually be Highway holding the wave right there for Order to come back to lane and not have to miss anything. But all in all, a pretty even trade, like you mentioned. Azitar, very crucially, still has his flashback and available.
I just got a tweet actually from Reed, who was not drinking water.
Looking at your phone, he prayed.
I saw the notification pop up.
Right.
It wasn't water, it was alcohol. So you're still going to need that toilet, but you'll probably be using.
Well, I was drinking water and you almost
your
choked
bottom
me.
end for it. Unfortunately, you sound quite high percentage alcohol. As Fury, I haven't seen him land a charm so far. I'm sure Namira is currently gripping a chair very tightly in the green room.
Here's the thing. In this lane, the lane doesn't belong to you if you're Ari. Especially if you don't know where Abagnale is on the Renata, especially if you don't know where Flipper is onto the Wukong. Aero provides so much CC on that Lissandra, especially after level 6. And yes, I know that there's the cleanse onto Fury, but once you use that cleanse, you're gonna have to either flash or ult away. So cleanse is just another precaution to keep you alive. You're gonna need to use another one of your displacement, either spells or summoner spells, to keep you alive.
Well, Odie does have to be somewhat careful here. He dodges out on the handshake with the Relentless Pursuit. Now Highway is joining up with him. They got Flipper down here as well, and he's almost got that Cyclone back up, so the Beyblade is available momentarily. But
they really want to put that Herald down the bot side of the map. I think this is the most clever choice. The Herald is literally expiring in a few seconds, so Fury needs to make sure he pushes in that wave and goes towards the bot side of the map. Shelly needs to be popped right now or it's going to expire. Oh my god, that was literally on the last second.
Ooh. Just about able to get it down. They should be able to get the shove as well. Now that they got Diamond Prox as bringing Flipper up as well with them. You can see Fury's moving down as well. Everybody wants to be here to make sure that this crash does happen, and Odie will be close enough to get the plates. Won't be able to get that third plate, unfortunately. So it's just a 2-plater, but it's a bit of gold injected into Odie in what has been a fairly relaxed start to the game. Both teams are pretty close in gold. Unlike a lot of our games today that have been incredibly explosive early and then just kind of staled out until the team who got ahead early won. So this is a lot closer here. And the gold lead is in Bifrost. That's kind of just off the back of the fact they got all those plates. So I'm quite happy. Shikari steals away a blue buff.
Flipper's gonna be so sad. He's like, okay, I'm just gonna path top lane, I guess. Oh, never mind. My top laner just took my Gromp, and enemy top lane just took my blue buff. I guess I'll just stick to bot side anyway.
That's not on Gromp at all.
I didn't want farm anyway, guys. It's all good. Did you say that's on Gromp?
On Gromp.
I cannot. Right, so going back to that play, I think this was a very easy to read play because Bifrost have been trying to pop that Herald down bot lane for the entire time, but Fury might be in trouble here.
Oh, he can't move! He can't move! Oh, the Fox is dead. One last auto attack.
That's what we said, though. We said that once Lissandra is in, Fury is going to have to cleanse to make sure he's not CC'd, but also he's either going to have to flash or all the way to actually escape the consequent CC that's going to come from Flipper's Wukong. And you see how difficult it is in this matchup to play the Ahri. You need to actually survive, and once Fury's a little bit overextended, Aero has been punishing every single time. 2-0 onto this Lissandra. He's about 30 CS up as well. He's a whole level up onto Fury too. And I think the setup in the mid lane is working really, really well. Your bot lane is not dying. Azure is very healthy. He has been farming a ton as well. You have been able to secure one dragon, which means Bifrost is not going to be stacking them up for at least another 15 minutes to reach the soul. So I think if you're NYYRIKKI right now, you're literally chilling. You're at a really good spot.
Yeah, no, I think they're very happy on that front. There are obviously a few areas. You've obviously got the Shikari on Olaf, who could potentially be a nuisance because the hostile takeover won't affect him. Neither will Hero, neither will Flipper. He literally could just run Azure down and be a nuisance there. You've obviously got this very powerful lane in the Lucian and the Nami, and you know they've got the Gale Force now finished up. Yes.
Just cage him.
Yeah, that is actually the answer, isn't it? So they got to play it smart, because if they use that bad, Odie dies. No, Azure dies. Odie should live.
Someone dies.
Ooh, tidal wave coming out. And nobody is swimming with the fishes after that one. It goes a little bit wide. Odie will eat a zap, actually.
I think the fact that we're 15 minutes in and Bifrost have yet not been able to use that Lucian Nami to create any pressure on the map has been very impressive from the side of NYYRIKKI, because it means NYYRIKKI have not given them an opening. They've been trying to roam Fury down the bot side of the map. Aero perma pushes mid lane. It's just so easy to clear the wave, but just Q and W onto the wave as Lissandra, it's completely gone, which means that Fury does not necessarily get the time to roam. Plus the fact that he has to run the cleanse means he has to manage his waves so perfectly that he doesn't lose any CS, that he gets his roams available to him, and that if he dies, he will have time to walk back into mid lane without losing everything. But without teleport, this is very, very difficult to do at this point.
It really is. But you see Bifrost actually trying to hold on. Fury holding on to this. Is the Rift Herald was started by Diamondprox, but he's not actually going to stick with it. There's a Highway looking for a bubble. Abigail missing out on the handshake, and Odie will be able to pick up first turret for himself, so a whole bunch of gold injected into himself. And now I'm going to say something silly. These bot lane supports, these supports, they're kind of like, they're like nature, because you have old days, Nami, she's an older champion with a tidal wave, but now you get a wave of green and slime and waste from the Renata. It's like global warming and all that, and ocean waste and stuff.
I just wish people could see my face right now, because you have the biggest cheesy smile of all time, and I'm just sitting
Trouble,
here,
obviously.
Yeah, and I'm just sitting here face palming.
I mean, they're two big waves. One's green and stinky, and one's got fishes in it.
That's a lot of context to this game. Yes.
It does. It does. It's been a long day, Trouble. It's a long day and it's a slow game. What do you want from me? I've run out of intelligent things to say. I only have so many things I can say per day that are actually intelligent until my head hurts.
And then you just run out.
Yeah, I'm at the head's hurting already, so I just have to say silly stuff now. Welcome to Game 5 of Hit Brain.
Okay, you know what? I'll save you. There you go.
Oh, it's Absol.
Hashtag NLC at home. What's this? 10 on NLC already. Yeah. Nobody wants to watch the weather forecast.
We had Bada Bing of a pipe doing the weather earlier.
That's true.
And they were very good. Fury actually caught out here. The claw comes
look
forward.
at Flipper.
And Fury just about able to hold on for the moment, but does have a monkey in the pocket.
Very angry Lucian right there.
That was unbelievably audible.
Yeah, he was really angry, but his calling gets stopped right there, if I'm not wrong, maybe by the Chompers or the handshake. One of the two. Nevertheless, Bifrost are playing towards the top side of the map. That Olaf is extremely strong right now.
Monkey bop.
Will be able to ult away from this situation, but then again, this is an Ahri that's going to be sitting in the mid lane without an ultimate, luckily for him. Lissandra is playing towards the bot side of the map. So NYYRIKKI are spreading themselves towards the bot side of the map. Bifrost are playing towards the top side of the map because they have Shikari on Olaf towards that side. So you definitely want to be playing towards your strong side at this point. Whilst NYYRIKKI are camping towards the bot side of the map, which in 50 seconds you also have the Dragon coming up. So you definitely want to establish some vision towards there. Might be able to take that bot lane tower as well, which means that you will be able to possibly flank from the bot side of the map once you have shoved in the wave 2, which makes it a little bit harder for all this Lucian to move in, because yes, we talk about how oppressive the Lucian Nami combo is, but we have to remember Nami is very squishy even through the durability patch. She's very squishy and very short range with all of her spells, and so is Lucian. Once he dashes in, he's very susceptible to be getting caught, CC'd and punished instantly.
Incredibly squishy, incredibly short range as well here. I think that's the big thing Bifrost have against them, is the range. And Lissandra excels into short range because she wants you to be close to her so she can ult you, so she can W you, so she can claw in. If you're playing at range, it's way harder for this Lissandra to play, so it's actually a very big brain pick on that front. They have got the Rift Herald. Bifrost actually opted to reset after taking Rift Herald instead of catching NYYRIKKI on their resets and looking just to place it in the mid and take the tower there. They decide smarter place to reset, get your items in your pocket, and Diamondbox is taking the Dragon.
NYYRIKKI lost a lot of the tempo they just created for themselves because they had very deep vision into Bifrost jungle on the bot side of the map. They had their strong side on the bot side. They had Aero onto his Lissandra towards the bot side of the map. They had just taken Fury's ultimate off of him, which means he doesn't have a lot of ways to actually escape. And they could have tried to actually stack up the Dragons and get 2 for themselves. Instead of that, they sort of got a little bit lost, and they're going to get punished with 2 towers on the bot side of the map. That was free for Bifrost. Sorry, not 2 towers, but the Dragon, which is the second for Bifrost, and a tower, and might be another boot, or Aero is going to be just there in time. Okay.
They've got the old ice switch there to make sure that ain't going to be going down, but it does look like Bifrost is shifting their attention towards this mid lane. Flipper is in the wings, has got Cyclone, has got Flash. Teleport's coming down the back line. Side Flipper flashes in, finds the 2-man knocker. Fury jumps away immediately. They can't keep him in place. He's stunned down by the bubble. Absolutely beautifully landed. As in comes Fury for the turnaround once again, unable to go and do so as Bifrost lose Diamond procs.
I want to see what actually happened to Aero, because that was a really good TB flank in the middle of everyone together with Banderas. But I think he got insta-charmed by Fury and he wasn't able to catch anyone. Everyone sort of like dissipated. They all flashed away in different directions, and I think that was very clever for Bifrost because they all got out of dodge, but they all went into completely different directions on the map, which means that it was really difficult for NYYRIKKI when you're in the heat of the moment and team fighting to call one person and chase after that.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Azathoth building towards that Phantom Dancer as the next item, but you've already got Odie, who's got Gale Force, he's got Essence Reaver, he's now building Last Whisper as well. Like, this is just plate gold and lane pressure.
Hurricane right here. I think everybody on the side of Bifrost is so squishy. Get in that Hurricane, get that multi-damage going into everyone together with your rockets, and it's going to be extremely difficult to deal with that Jinx unless you have Shikari right there onto the Olaf, which, mind you, he's still not that tanky. That Jinx is doing true damage with the Kraken as well. She's hurting a lot. So if Shikari cannot 100% to zero Azta, it's going to be a big problem to deal with that Jinx once he gets shut down.
Well, it looks like Bifrost again pushing up into this mid lane, but they don't have Rift Herald. They don't have really any tools to go forward, and Fury actually has to ult away. Great Bubble comes in, but they get the Cyclone off. Highway is going to survive. No! Azathoth finish it up with the Flash. A bit of durability coming in there from the patch, and then a Flash makes sure, but no, not happening.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a very squishy Nami, just with Monday, takes an entire combo from Flipper's Wukong, from Aero, from Everfrost, from Azita, and still ends up going down, requiring Azita's Flash, which is huge. If you want to be fighting against an Olaf, you might want to be able to dodge away from one of these axes, so you can try to run a little bit faster, even though Shikari does have the Ghost. Making able to flash away from an axe might be your life or death in a particular team fight. And in 2 minutes' time, this is going to be sole point for Bifrost. I think NYYRIKKI will want to fight this to try and take it away from Bifrost and not allow them to stack 3 dragons up. And at this point, you said it as well, Phantom Dancer also for Jinx is going to be extremely strong. So I think that Flash right there was a little bit of an overchase, and he might actually cost us, though. We're going to have to keep our eyes on him in 1 minute and 35 if NYYRIKKI do want to contest for that Dragon. If that Flash not being there is going to cost Azathoth his life.
big thing is Abagnale obviously having the hostile takeover available. When you're in these tight Baron areas, it's such an impactful tool, can turn this very short-range comp against itself. It's kind of another champion we didn't really hit on when we were talking about the short range. You've got Lissandra, but you've also got the hostile takeover. So let them chip each other away and then go in with the Lissandra and finish them up. Really, really scary stuff for Bifrost in these tight scenarios. So they definitely need to make sure they have good vision and set up for the Dragon. 1 minute until the Dragon goes down. I'd like to actually have a look towards this bot side of the map and actually see how the vision is going, because it feels like NYYRIKKI are the ones with the control in the vision. I'm going to zoom out and have a quick look, and yeah, it's NYYRIKKI's river.
I'd say if you look behind enemy lines, behind NYYRIKKI, I see 4 wards that are red, 3 wards that are red for the side of Bifrost. So at least they will know all the flank positions. But right now, because NYYRIKKI have shoved in the mid lane wave first, they can actually hide in these few bushes that Bifrost do not have vision on. And Highway, if he walks way too close, now Avro can just actually claw through the wall and 100-0 the Nami.
Yeah, they do have a good pocket of vision though, but NYYRIKKI can just peel back into and hold. Everfrost comes out, Fury, and it's not going to hit anybody. They're trying to shove this wave in as quick as possible, but as sort of a cheeky crit, able to do so. Nero just trying to chunk out Diamond Procs as much as possible. The fight for the vision is breaking out, and actually seeing if they're going to be able to jump away is NYYRIKKI able to continue to hold this pink ward in the pit, and Bifrost are actually hard forcing. Flipper's jumping in forwards. He gets himself a 2-man cycle, and the hostile takeover is so impactful. They're trying to get a little bit more off, and NYYRIKKI have everybody at the palm of their hands. 1 kill for Azator. He's looking for another. Gonna get taken down by the Camille, as Odie has to flash away from the zap, and NYYRIKKI just walk through Bifrost in the fight.
I'm just gonna say that the biggest MVP right here was Aeros stopwatch. He ults himself and then he stopwatches instantly, zoning away 3 key members from the side of Bifrost. They're not able to walk through that ultimate because Aeros is sitting there, and Flipper sees the opportunity, goes in with the Renata shield as well, zones away Fury and Odie, and look at Aeros, he's zoning away 4 members of Bifrost. Diamond Procs is left alone to dry, and once he dies and Azita gets excited, they need to chase to try and get everyone else down, which means Bifrost have to completely run away to just save their lives. Again, Azita got out of this laning phase really rich. No one has him. This Jinx is online, almost at 3 items right now, and yes, she's behind Lucian by 300 gold, but this Lucian can't play the game. Once the Lissandra stops the choke point, or whatever way Lucian wants to walk in from, that's it for Odie. He cannot walk in.
Well, yeah, that and also the hostile takeover. It's just like there's so many tools to stop Lucian from ever playing. And yeah, it did its job in lane. They won the lane. I don't think you could ever argue against that, but the problem is it hasn't really translated into more than 2 towers going down in the bot side and a tower going down in the top side. Baron actually looking to get started up by NYYRIKKI here. And again, they've got that hostile takeover back up and available any second now. So if Bifrost wants to try and face check this, they're going to get caught out. And Abagnale actually waiting off in the wings. This Baron's already incredibly low. Big knock up into the culling. Flipper going to take a fair amount of damage, but he's able to flip away for the moment. Is he a hero? Going to get zoned off. Baron stopped now by Bifrost. A great tidal wave coming in from Highway.
I feel like we've been seeing this a lot today. There's like this uncertainty with the teams where they can't necessarily push their advantage very much. Oh, we see the double TPs again coming in from NYYRIKKI, but I think Bifrost is already far back.
Yeah, they're way too far gone. But there's chases, but he's not going to find it. The claw comes out, but you're not jumping under tower.
That was double TP expended for this play. They got nothing at all. And I think this patch has confused a lot of teams. We've seen so many teams dancing at Baron, dancing in the middle, and trying to contest over waves, going into this back and forth where they have so much mobility and they have so much healing coming through and so much tankiness, and then nobody ends up dying and then go back and reset. This game is dead even. 44k gold for both teams, 2 dragons each. And they both have enough scaling to win the later on stages of the game. Bifrost has a lot more peeling, and NYYRIKKI have all the engage that they need. So
but look,
it just feels so difficult to just hard engage for either one or the other.
And they burnt 2 teleports when they didn't have the wave set up for themselves either. So they've now had to go out, separate off, and this has given Bifrost a free reset. They can go back and get items. Shiroda's Grudge now finished up for Odie. He got Zonya's Hourglass and Fury, Diamond Procs as the GA. So like this jump forward into your face and burst you out and CC you until you die. it's kind of now hit a point where, okay, can you actually do that? Because you get permaslowed. You can't really catch two of the members because they got revives and stasises, and the other one's just going to keep you permaslowed. You've got the Nami as well. It's so hard for NYYRIKKI actually now that these items are starting to come in. Now, they are able to pick themselves up a tower, but Flipper comes in with a great route. Well, sorry, Furuy comes with a great route onto the clone, unfortunately. So not going to be anything more there.
Aero's going to get smacked in the face by an axe as well. They found him in the bush. So all in all, NYYRIKKI managed to get that pressure in the mid lane, whilst not all Bifrost members were there to try and break open that mid. But like, games have massively slowed down at this point. I feel like due to the fact that there's not a lot of Dragon stack in both Bifrost and NYYRIKKI, if they feel like they cannot contest any further fights, they can actually let the next Dragon go, which means we extend the game for another 5 minutes. And we're already 30 minutes in.
What? Where's this time gone?
Time flies when we cast together, Hip Rain.
Hell yeah, baby. Well, like you said, Dragon spawning up in a 1 minute time. It's soul point for every team can get it, but it's not soul. So there's still a bit of space, like you were kind of talking about. And this game definitely feels like it's going to go quite a little bit longer. But that does make me worry for Bifrost, because Azator on the Jinx now, 3 items, Infinity Edge, Kraken's Lair, Phantom Dancer. Not quite the Hurricane you were wanting to see earlier, because obviously, like you're saying, short range, squishy. Hurricane excels in this, but decided not to go for that. They'd rather go for that Phantom Dancer and just play around that. And
Look at
obviously
Azator hugging the wall on the left side, by the way. He's like, I know Bifrost is on the right. I'm just going to hack that beautiful wall on the left side. Aero might be caught here.
Culling does a lot of work. Banderas loses a lot of health in a hero. Actually flashes forward, doesn't catch out to Odie again. Goes the tidal wave. Hostile takeover to come back. Lands onto 3 members. They've got them berserk. Diamond Prox. His GA is going to get popped as he's burning down. Flipper slides in. Finds himself the Cyclone knockup. Fury still has a couple of resets on the ultimate left to go. Going to charge him once again. Lands the charm, but has to dash instantly back out. And Azator is on a killing spree as he takes down the 2nd member of Bifrost. What an ultimate by Abagnale there.
Honestly, I feel like Aero misplayed right there, but Flipper and Abagnale saved him big time. Fury.
Yeah, Fury's in for a whole lot of hurt, but Banderas has to use the stopwatch. Fury jumps out, gets himself the Bifrost off. So much health. He's getting lost. Azator shut down. Odie's online. He's got the slows. He's got the damage. He caught out. Odie coming alive. Getting himself everything. Highway gets a double as well. And NYYRIKKI are slapped.
Holy, Odie has come online onto that Lucian. All it takes is one misstep and the champion comes online. And yet again, Aero is trying to go for a play right here, but Odie dumps the entire culling onto him, getting him down to 30% HP. And then Aero tries to flash in for a W play right there, but Odie's too clever for that, doesn't fall for it. And yes, that hostile takeover was beautiful, but Flipper going in right there. He holds onto the 2nd ultimate until Diamond Prox comes back up to knock him out for a 2nd time and enable Azator to get that kill onto Diamond Prox as well, onto the Viego. And I think, yeah, they're overreaching a little bit. They're a little bit too bloodthirsty for the kills. Just go for the Dragon. You'll see Azator flashes in, try and kill Fury, gets stuck onto the bubble, hit by the tip of the Q from Ari, and Odie from there on out is just a chase, try and kill them all.
Odie played that so well. I mean, the whole of Bifrost played that. Well, those last 3 members of Bifrost played that final bit of the fight so incredibly well. And that is sole point to Bifrost, our 2-0 team. But this does give me some hope for NYYRIKKI. Win or lose here, they have hard challenged Bifrost in this game, and they are 0-2 coming into this. So this is a big, big statement from this team, and it's great to see that. But they're not, you know, as weak as the scores might say.
I think they all look good. I think from top to bottom, the entirety of NYYRIKKI has looked pretty good this game. Everyone has done what they need to do. Abagnale has had insane ultimates. Azator is the character that we've always remembered him to be, and I think Aero and Flipper have majorly stepped up, as well as Banderas on a side lane too. But when it comes to Bifrost, you know what the quote is, you do not win against Bifrost when it comes to team fighting and when it comes to playing a game that's above 25 minutes. And with 32 minutes in, they're on soul point for Infernal Soul out of anything else. And then there's also a Baron on the map. And you know what? Viego, Lucian, and Olaf can literally tear through that Baron. The only point is Bifrost needs an opening where they can actually get a pocket of vision and sneak into that Baron and maybe do it underneath NYYRIKKI's noses, because on a 5 versus 5, we've seen it over and over again, Bifrost cannot really win because they can't approach. And even though Aero was dead in that previous fight, he's been a big thorn on Odie's back, they still couldn't approach.
Odie doesn't have flash, doesn't have cleanse. So Bifrost may be a little hesitant to start this Baron, just because if they do get caught in the pit, which is very likely if they start it, could be a problem. Odie gonna throw the culling down. Target dummy from Flipper does show you how much damage he's capable of doing. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, GA Banderas, 3 items, quite happy to be pushing onto this tower, but Shikari might be looking to hunt him down here. Hookshot's gonna come
chase.
down.
The Ghost has been popped.
They are chasing him. Ghost has come out. They're teleporting away because there's no interrupt. Shikari can't stop it.
But that's it. That's the teleport down for Banderas, which means you are no longer allowed to be on a side lane, which means you can now actually possibly threaten the Baron because Shikari has to run all the way from both side to top.
They've got that tidal wave though. They need to make it work. They need to make it hit. It's on a couple of members. Banderas gonna take a whole lot of damage. Baron once again is dissuaded by Bifrost.
Welcome to the durability patch, ladies and gentlemen, where people do not necessarily draft for engages, they don't necessarily want to reach the backline. It's a back and forth fiesta for the Baron, and now it's Bifrost's turn to start the fiesta.
A hero needs to make a hero play happen. This Charm could come out. He's going to get caught out. Fury stopwatches. The hero has to ult himself. Odie caught inside. The hostile takeover's not actually quite on the mark as Odie's still alive. He's trying to get out, but all of the CC is landing. It's a 1-for-1 so far. Charm does land onto one. Diamond Prox trying to jump back in. He's got the monkey form. Coming out, a hero gets the bailout, and Shikari goes down, so the bailout goes off. Azator finds himself a kill as Highway has to flash over the wall, but Banderas is going to chase after him. Highway needs to land this bubble if he wants to survive, but in comes Banderas. Hook shot goes wide, but the precision protocol, true damage, gets him some sushi.
And we said you do not win against this NYYRIKKI lineup on a straight up 5 versus 5. You need to make a pick on the side lane. We saw Shikari trying to chase down Banderas. Once Banderas uses the TP, they find it's the perfect timing to maybe start the Baron. Have to have Shikari run all the way from the bot side of the map to the top side of the map to return to action, but then Bifrost pull the trigger for the Baron. You mentioned it yourself, Odie, no flash, no cleanse, gets caught. Azator was barely part of this fight, and NYYRIKKI win this. So as you can see, Aero goes in, beautiful ultimate right there to split Bifrost into 2 parts. And look at the Nami. Highway is all alone towards the board side of the map, which means that Odie, Diamond Prox, nobody's actually getting buffed by this Nami. No one's getting the combo down. Highway was no part of this fight. Asdor wasn't either, but when the Nami's not there to buff you and shield you and provide the CC, it's just so impossible for Lucian to play into this team.
Absolutely lovely stuff coming out from NYYRIKKI. They will take away the Baron, they take away that fight, but this is Soul. This is what it is all about. Odie has his flash, has his cleanse this time, and Fury actually on the flank here, trying to see if he can sneak around. There is a nice ward though, but will spot him out. Ultimates are plenty. Everybody is ready to pull that trigger and start this fight.
Oh, Banderas.
Fury misses the charm. Banderas hook shots over the wall. Dragon, half HP. Remember, this is just Soul point for NYYRIKKI. It's not Soul. If Bifrost can get it, it's big. A hero on the flank, spotted out by the ward though. Shikari knows he's there. Culling's gonna go down. They're gonna chase in. Has to ult himself. The fight is off. Hostile takeover only lands onto the Nami. They get him up with a knock up the moment. And Odie now pinned in place by Banderas. Stopwatches for the moment. Highway can keep him alive as long as River's gonna chase in. There's gonna be the turnaround. They get themselves another kill. And look at the damage over the wall coming in as Azator flashes forwards. Fury's able to do more. The bailout comes in and Banderas will bleed down. Fury uses the stopwatch. The res coming in from Diamond Prox. Stealing forms away. He's got hook shots. He's got Azator, stopwatch coming down, but Abagnale will lose his life. Right and center, Bifrost are taking this. Azator falls, and it's an ace for Bifrost.
I do not know how this fight got turned around again. A flash by Azator loses them the numbers advantage. Way too aggressive by NYYRIKKI's AD carry right there. He's going to donate Soul over to Bifrost.
Before we get you to break this down, watch Fury's stopwatch. It stops the bailout from going off, and that's the key turning point.
Absolutely, and look at Aero. He goes down first. He no longer provides CC for his team. Odie's caught on the sideline as well. I'm like, surely this is it. Like, Azator is getting reset. He will flash through, but Diamond Prox is playing monkey, and all this time they keep hitting his dummy. And look at this, Resurrect coming in from Diamond Prox. He's gonna take the Soul as well. He's playing Camille. He's gonna dive into the backline. From there on out, it's lights out. Beautiful double bubble coming in from Highway as well. And I feel like that Azator flash over the wall was a little bit of an overreach. Now Infernal Soul onto Bifrost, who's one of the most known better team fighting teams that we have on the NLC with an Infernal, so it's just going to make it so difficult for NYYRIKKI to play the game.
It's just that stopwatch. That stopwatch was so gorgeous to watch, completely denying Banderas the resurrect from the bailout. And then at that point, the fight just gets reset. Like you were saying, Soul onto Bifrost, a team who just showed us how good they are at team fighting. Considering NYYRIKKI's comp is built to kind of shut down the short range of this. But again, it's been Abagnale, I think 2 times in a row, kind of whiffing the hostile takeover and not only hitting maybe 1 or 2 people. So it looks like potentially we might have a little bit of spice cooking here. Highway lands himself the ultimate, but Banderas is cooked. He went way too hard for that, and Diamond Prox actually gets himself a stun. Pulled back in 2-1, and he's going to get taken out. So hostile takeover's coming in, and Odie, he's gone berserk. He's looking for the kill though. Flipper chasing into Odie's pocket. Odie, look at Fury! For the moment, as Fury got himself the Spirit Rush in. Bailouts are getting used. Everybody's going to stop until the bailout won't go off again. Azator falls, and Bifrost are unstoppable. They are running through NYYRIKKI. That's the 4th member down, and a hero is slowed. Odie can stay in the pocket, and the flash has to come out. Bifrost, 2 fights in a row, just perform and deliver.
Whoa, that was a big overreach from NYYRIKKI. The rest of the team has to actually come in because Banderas is way too deep. Diamond Prox ends up losing his life. But Fury with a fantastic flank onto this area, and Bifrost do not lose a game above 25 minutes.
40 minutes on the clock. It has been a slugfest as a hero gets himself caught out, gets himself taken out, but he might have just bought enough time because Azator's up and he has that Super Mega Death Rocket. If it hits, it could kill quite a few people. Let's
Again,
fight.
Highway is overextended, but remember, he has his flash available. This is the durability patch. Nami doesn't go down that easily. He has the backup of his entire team right there. NYYRIKKI, yes, they found a peek onto Diamond Prox, and they get their Jinx excited, which means they want to chase even more, but they all funnel and sandwich themselves between 4 members of Bifrost. Fury's flank right there was insane. Shikari survived so long now with the shield on the W from the Olaf. From there and out, once Azator has gone down, it's just impossible to play these team fights once you've lost your AD carry.
Yeah, it really is. 40 minutes. Soul, gold lead irrelevant. Almost full build on Azator. Odie already full build. This game is super, super tight now between these two, but you have Baron, you have Soul. Well, Baron's coming up in 30 seconds. You have Soul for the side of Bifrost, and I wonder, what can they do?
This game might just be decided in 2 minutes time and 15 seconds when the Elder Dragon is gonna come up, because Bifrost are obviously gonna beeline for it. But sorry, they've got the Infernal Soul on them, so they definitely want to be fighting right now. They've got the extra damage, but 5 seconds for the Baron. If they do get that, they're going to establish so much pressure on the side lanes that then they will be able to get more vision, and then the Elder Dragon will become easier to get for Bifrost. Although if he gets caught here, it's going to be bad news.
Yeah, well, he doesn't die, but he's pretty much caught. Flipper comes in, Cyclone's gonna land. Hostile takeover dodged away, and that might be the go button. A hero chunk, hostile takeover down, Baron's up, Bifrost are turning.
Aero is actually backing right now. There are really good wards on the top side of the map for Aero to TP to. If NYYRIKKI want to actually contest that, there is no ultimate onto Flipper, there is no ultimate onto Abagnale, and these are the 2 most important ultimates that you want to have if you want to teamfight Bifrost.
Tidal Wave on cooldown, teleport coming in. NYYRIKKI, this has to be their moment to save it.
Gone.
Can Flipper steal it? He's got the blast cone. He's in the wall. Flipper steals the Baron! And Bifrost have to try and turn the fight around. They've already got a Resurrect coming out onto Diamond Prox as everybody has blinking health bars on the side of Bifrost. It's a 1-for-1 so far, but Baron in the pocket and NYYRIKKI, they are getting out of there.
That was so huge from Banderas, the fact that he jumps into the pit first and then allows Flipper to get vision in the pit, and then Banderas helps Flipper lower down the Baron, and Flipper steals it away from the hands of Diamond Prox. It becomes a 50-50. That is actually so huge from NYYRIKKI, because they can use the pressure from the Baron up minions to push through that mid lane where Bifrost have their own super minions shoving in and actually try to contest Elder Soul in 30 seconds.
That's what I was about to say. Elder Soul in 30 seconds. Shikari's going to be up in 22 seconds. A hero coming up at exactly the same time. Neither of them have teleport, so this could just strictly be a 4v4, although Shikari may just have to ghost to get get in range. Let's see this Baron still
Let's
again.
watch this again because Flippa goes together with Banderas from the back side of the pit. And look at Banderas, level 18 Camille, dives in, survives enough, turns it around and allows Flippa to get vision and trying to steal that Baron. That was so huge from Banderas right there to allow his teammate to get that steal down. On the other side, Bifrost are completely scattered around. Again, if Aero is up and alive, it is so difficult for Odi and Nami and Ari to walk anywhere near that fight. Banderas!
Oh, what a charm, Banderas. He's ignited, he's burning down the hostile, why are you bailing him out? He's gonna res, but it's okay for the moment. Half health onto Elder. Fury dodging away on as much as possible. NYYRIKKI need to win this fight. Can they do so? Dragon's gonna reset momentarily. Teleport's coming in, and Banderas is gonna rejoin into the action after getting chunked out. He doesn't have that Guardian Angel anymore. Fury is gonna have to jump away. Stopwatch for the moment. He's got the Spirit Rush going in for the reset. Tidal Wave goes a little bit wide. Hostile takeover still not being used. There's another good Bifrost, and Banderas once again chunked out. He's out of the fight. There's nothing he can do. Fury has got his ultimate available. The base is being invaded. The base is being taken down. There are no teleports for Bifrost to go in though. So he's all on the minions. As a hero, he just one-shots Fury. He's out of the fight. The hostile takeover's coming in. He's gonna land on multiple members. Odi, he has to win this fight. He's still got GA working with him. But Shikari, heavily chunked out. Blast cone available. He's able to get over the wall and get to safety. But Elder Dragon should be NYYRIKKI's to take here.
That was a huge fight. Aero this time is not the one getting caught. He is the one to catch Fury. They take his ultimate very early into the fight. Banderas leaves his Guardian Angel behind to take Fury's ultimate. And Aero absolutely assassinates him. This game is insane, Aero!
Aero's going low. He's not going to go down thanks to the root. Odi can't find him. Are we on the durability patch? Because people are melting.
I mean, it's level 18 across the board. It's full items on every carry. If you can't melt people with full items, then something has gone wrong in this patch. But right now, Azita, full items, QSS on the back pocket. He has his flash available. He can push all he likes with the backup of Abagnail right there. Keep your eyes peeled for these ultimates because they're going to be very crucial. 2 members still down for Bifrost. It gives NYYRIKKI a little bit more time to coordinate the waves, push 2 at once into the base of Bifrost.
Keeping the pressure up on all fronts. Elder Baron is just disgusting, although Baron has actually worn off, so ignore me on that one. But Elder, still enough of a tool to dissuade them. Like you're saying, level 18 across the boards, full items, pretty much across the boards here. Fury finds himself the charm for a bit of revenge, has to force the ultimate out of Hero. That's pretty big. Diamond Prox not going to go forward with that Spectral Maw. Just happy with a little bit of a chunk, a little bit of a chip damage. Inhibitor has respawned in NYYRIKKI's base, so there are no supers to push into. NYYRIKKI not going to use this Elder for a fight, and they're not going to take more trouble. This game is still going on. 46 minutes on the clock.
I think this game has been Aero versus Fury. Whichever mid laner dies first, the teamfight is lost for their team. And I think it's so crucial that these 2 mid laners are giving so much control over to both teamfights for both of their teams that I think it's very crucial to look at both of them. Where's Aero franking from? Where is he playing from? Is he going to be able to land that big ultimate, or is he going to save it to actually zone away people and use it for himself? Because every time he walks too near, Fury has been excellent at landing these charms that we didn't necessarily see all throughout the laning phase. Fury has been stellar in finding the flanks, finding the charms, but last teamfight where Aero found him and assassinated him, he lost them the Elder Dragon.
Actually, kind of a big steal here. Odi taking this blue, actually giving it over to Fury as well. That means they've got this blue buff on Ari to constantly keep, obviously, that ability haste up, but also just that mana bar up.
Oh, they're sitting on a ward. They're sitting on a ward.
Oh, they are on a ward flipper, though. Should be probably not the person they want
Still
to
Elder Dragon,
down.
so you definitely don't want to be jumping in there. Even if you do see them, you're going to have to wait for that Elder Dragon buff to wear off very shortly. I don't think it's going to last that much longer. But like, they have enough time on that Elder Dragon buff to actually take control, top corner of Diamond Proxy's jungle, put this warding down, make sure that you can actually start the Baron yourself, invite Bifrost to come into you when you have so much crowd control and so much zone control with the Renata, with Alessandra.
Fury actually just finished up their final item, picking up the Shadow Flame, so as strong as it gets for the Ari. Level 18, Flash about to come back up. If we actually take a quick look and quick stock take of the summoner spells, pretty much everyone's got everything. A Hero and Flipper, their flashes are still a little bit of a ways off, but everybody else should have their summoner spells for whatever exchange is coming momentarily. I think it might either be this Baron, or we might see a quick shift towards that Elder Dragon in 2 minutes' time. For the moment, A lot of vision control by Bifrost in the Baron area.
I think it's so important for Aero to actually have his flash up and available into this fight because Fury has been so mobile with that Ahri, finding all these stones, having the flash available to even flash W in the middle of a fight is going to be so crucial. Right now, Bifrost have started the Baron. It's level 18 all across the board. You see the Baron and now you don't.
Fury this time making sure that there isn't going to be the option for the steal. He may just look for the full combo onto Hero. Lands himself the charm, just a little bit of chunk. Now Fury Flipper, can he come in? Can he steal it away? No, he can't. Baron's been picked up, but that is a hostile takeover and a half. If ever I've seen one. Odie still got himself the Guardian Angel, but he's going to get popped already. Highway trying to keep everybody up and everybody alive and not going to be able to do so. Odie dashes and dives away to safety as Diamond Prox gives his life, but it's a double kill. Picked up for Azator. Bifrost lose 2, but they gain the Baron.
They still have 3 and they have the 2 main carries together with the Nami. They will be able to defend for the time being, but the Baron does go over to Bifrost. Diamond Prox secures it this time, but it's an entire NYYRIKKI lineup TPing in, 2 lanes being pushed, and Bifrost only have 3 members. You cannot defend every lane.
It's what they can do, how long they can stall. They got 35 seconds until the other 2 are up, and these towers are liquefying to NYYRIKKI. Number 1, number 2 go down. Inhibitors falling aplenty. Bifrost are running out of time, running out of opportunities to hold on. They're trying to clear through the waves as much as possible. The Culling's going to go out. Odie has to buy time, but he's being caught out. He has no Guardian Angel. Hero does all the work possible. Stopwatch comes out. Banderas may just lose his life. Instantly has to flash away to safety. Flipper jumps in forward, able to take down the Nami. Azator cleanses nothing, but the towers are going to fall. The Nexus is going to fall, and Bifrost will fall to NYYRIKKI.
Oh my god, 49 minutes and 46 seconds it took NYYRIKKI to win this game. What a back and forth series. We had, what, 6, 7 Dragons, 2 Elders, 2 Barons, a Baron still. Honestly, if you just tuned in at the end of this game, please watch it all because it was a battle of the carries, start to finish. It was Aero versus Fury. It was Azator versus Odie. Flipper on that Wukong was absolutely excellent into finding the backline over and over again. If I honestly had to choose an MVP, Flipper was definitely the MVP for me. Still in the Baron, always finding the backline, making sure that the second knockup will land on the right targets. What a performance on that Wukong.
My mind is boggled, absolutely
Want a break?
boggled off the back of that game. I did not expect it to be that hype. That was absolutely incredible. And somehow, our guys on the desk have to break that down, although there's a lot to talk about, so we're going to throw it over to you. Catch!
Thanks. How can you even go through this game 50 minutes? This is exactly what we're talking about on the durability patch. Okay, hit me, Jamada.
Here's the neat part.
Okay, hit it.
You don't. Because, my God, that is just one of those games where you kind of just have to sit there and experience it.
Yes.
Because, frankly, there comes a point where, like, you get games like these every once in a while, and especially it's been a very long time since we get these kind of like 50-ish minute slogfests because, well, durability patch wasn't a thing. Now it's a thing. Champions weren't dying in manners where there was even like Odie very later on couldn't pick up Aero in the mid lane whilst he's trying to clear the wave. We saw Highway walk away on like 200-ish HP, 100-ish HP many times. And this is the kind of things that will keep these games going for a very extended period of time. But I think, honestly, credit to NYYRIKKI for staying so tenacious because it seemed like for them, they had everything in control for like the early game, which is a bit of a surprise for us, I think. And then Bifrost, through anything but just their mid-game shenanigans that we expect from them, came back into it, but it just became a bit of a back and forth.
Utterly scammed. I chat to quite a few coaches, one of them being NYYRIKKI's coach, and most of this weekend who's saying, are you ready for the Fiesta? This week, nah, it's gonna be a mess. And I'm like, oh, you know, how long do you reckon it's going to take you to get your next, like, ready for the new patch? It's like, oh, it could take a while. What was that?
Because at the beginning of the game, I would say they seemed like a dog chasing a car, and they finally got the car. But like, what do we do with the car
like,
now?
Against a team specifically like Bifrost, who are our late game team fighting team. Now, if you watched EU Masters, and I would seriously suggest going back to watch some of those games because they were so entertaining through play-ins, through groups, through into, well, I mean, obviously quarterfinals were less good for them at that point, but like when they reached those late game team fights, they always
win.
made it interesting. They always brought it to a point where Now, most of the time with Bifrost, it's like they will win but give you a hard stack on the way. This time it was just create complete heart failure. It's just like, bam, okay, nothing's left here. Like, we were sat here, because we have to come into the studio before when the game looks like it's going to end, right? We were sat there for like 5 minutes solid, just
wondering.
locked on the stream.
Yeah, like
locked on it. These are the kind of games which make you just really effing love this game.
It's for these games that we are fans of League of Legends. And now we can talk with the winner. On the winner side, NYYRIKKI, Flipper, the jungle, who stole away the Baron as well. That is the smile I want to see. How are you feeling after this game? How's your heart, though?
I'm doing very good. It was a very, very stressful game, and I mean, we were very happy we get the win. I think we have been improving well, and it has been some good weeks because we have had a very tough time playing in scrims. We have been losing all the time, so getting a win today definitely is needed. And I feel like our improvement in scrims is showing on stage, actually.
You have no idea how hard it was to set up this interview. Because at the beginning it was like, oh, they're winning. Okay, cool. And then you guys started losing. Like, okay, so how does it feel? And then you win again. Like, stop doing this to me. Okay, when you went to that dragon fight when Bifrost completely took over the game, what went through the mind of NYYRIKKI team, like your team? How were you guys dealing with that? Now we have to play from the back, even though we were playing from the front the entire game.
I think for us, it was mostly just about making sure we had the correct flanks for our side laners. If we knew if we had the flanks, we would end up winning the game. So mostly we were just thinking about, okay, how are we going to be able to get a flank for either Aero or Banderas? And then once we got those flanks, it just made the fights a lot easier to play.
Okay, so we obviously talked about this game. This game is probably a symptom of the larger cause of the whole patch. Now, we were theory crafting on the desk which teams this patch would benefit the most.
Yes.
Now, when I look at your team, when I look at NYYRIKKI, it does seem to be one which seems to be quite cerebral, quite intelligent. At least that's the way you're trying to play the game, thinking about the later game team fights and the overall compositions. Do you think that this patch will benefit you? And if so, how?
Yeah, I mean, I think we are more of a methodical team. So I would say that when we play the game, we want it to be a bit slower. So when we played in the first week, one had a bad mid read, and two, like, teams were able to play at a much faster pace. So I think we get surprised by a lot of plays people make when we are not able to get a grip on how the early game is going. So in these kind of games where we have a free early game like we did today, I think we are very well in team fights, and we are very well when we get into the mid game. At least now, I think beforehand we weren't, but we have improved a lot on our mid game. So I think now we had a very good point.
Okay, since we ran away from the game, I'm going straight up for the spicy moment for you. Tell me something. I did an interview with Singularity, and they said, okay, I mean, things are going south, but we're going to play NYYRIKKI next week. Hit me up with your feelings after you just took one of the undefeated teams down. How do you feel about the game versus Singularity? What do you have to say to them? You're talking with Singularity now.
I would say that they should watch out, because I think this is probably going to be very easy for us unless they improve a lot in the next day, which I think won't be possible. So I would say they're going to lose.
I mean, I love me some spice. Now, that was an amazing game. Every single fan of League of Legends should watch that. Any words for NYYRIKKI fans right now?
Yeah, I would say thank you for supporting us, and I hope you look forward to more spicy matches like this, because we are going to bring it.
Oh, man, I'm ready for that one. I'm a fan of NYYRIKKI right now because of that. So thank you so much for the interview, and I'll see you next time.
I don't know, again, like, we've spent a long time casting NYYRIKKI now. Obviously, you know, we had the last split on the NLC.
Yeah.
This is a team that has been around in the Finnish scene for like 2 years at this point. Actually, a lot of that roster has stayed together for that time. Now, to see them, again, just have these incremental glow-ups, where even at the end of the last split, they were actually looking pretty solid in the very last couple of weeks. You can look back and say, oh, there was actually a very big difference between the playoffs teams and the non-playoffs teams, and just in terms of the results. Actually, I think that's not quite telling of the results. To see the growth of this team, which was kind of like hometown regional heroes, it's really cool. It hits on just a very different kind of story than we tend to have in League of Legends. So it's
And
really
the
fun
bot
to see
lane
this.
always was humongous, like tremendous for this team. And now they switched up the rest rest of the composition. And they're looking solid now. So this is a team to watch out.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think on your point, not just in League of Legends in general, but especially at the ERL level, it feels like we don't really get teams that tend to stick together for too long. It's a revolving door at the end of the day, the ERL system, and that's just how it's designed. But yeah, I think, like you say, development is such a key thing for this team, especially when you're talking about keeping a duo, keeping the mid laner, and then, you know, it seemed like the Siduri last split wasn't working out. So, of course, we have Flipper come in, we have Banderas come in on the top side, who, I mean, seems to be doing just fine for now. And I expect, like you say, that development to start to take place, especially when we've already got so much pre-built synergy. It's just the top on the jungle that have come in for this split. And it seems like with the new patch that, you know, we spoke about in the pre-game, this patch probably benefiting Bifrost. But I think a team like NYYRIKKI as well, who do rely on their bottom lane a lot, this could be a patch, and, you know, future patches to come in this split could very heavily benefit them.
The patch that could benefit Bifrost, but at the end, it didn't. And this is why we want to talk with Furuy, the mid laner from Bifrost, standing to talk with us. And that was a rough game for everyone. I know, but you're still smiling. Like, at the end of the day, even though you lost, you really enjoyed playing that one, didn't you? Be honest.
I mean, personally, I think I played really bad, especially early game. But yeah, I'm just smiling because well, I cannot be sad on cost, right? So.
No, you can be human. You know, we love you as you are, so you can be yourself. Obviously, the early game was kind of hard for you. You got ganked, 3-man squad in the mid line, and as soon as you see Alessandra getting ahead of an Ari, and I was talking about that, how can you even look into the matchup? How can you come back from that matchup?
I mean, it's mostly just accepting that Lissandra just gets pushed on most ways. But I think even in this game, we managed to keep it quite well under control. I think I had sometimes even push as well, and we had like a pretty good Herald on bot. But yeah, I mean, if I'm like 0-2 and she has Everfrost finished and I not even close to it, yeah, it's pretty hard to play.
Well, I mean, you can blame him for this one now, because I'm going to dive into some Ari stuff. Because you brought it up, right? Because obviously Ari into Lissandra, once Lissandra gets ahead, it can get quite difficult. But one thing that you as a player have often specialized in is playing around these vision traps and playing around these flanks and finding a way into the mid game. Even doing that while the rest of the map seems to be a little bit unstable, what was your mindset coming like into the mid game to start coming back in that game? Because that was actually, from our perspective, an uphill battle.
Well, from playing the game, it felt like front to back is really hard because they have like the Renata W and Lissandra ult plus is Sonya, so it was really hard to kill the first target for Viego. So, and I'm quite well at like playing champions that can look for flanks and that kind of stuff. So like throughout the game, I think the only option we really had is like look for a flank and try to go on that way because front to back was not working for us.
So that was why you took up that decision to make the Baron play. The last one, to make sure that you could go for the flip. Can you run me by like the thought process of the team of we need to go for the Baron? This is where we can get NYYRIKKI out of position.
I mean, I don't think there was like a lot of macro in the end of that, but I mean, we felt like if we had pretty good control on the Nash because we pushed them out on mid lane towards bot. So we started the Nash and I had like a pretty good spot, but I mean, I have not even seen how the fight went because I was so split compared to the rest. So yeah, I mean, I just need to look back on that part.
And that it reaches a point as a player when you're playing for more than 50 minutes, you're exhausted from looking for the micro, for the macro, and things just run out of your hands, right? So you think this patch could be exhausting for the players competitively?
I mean, I didn't like expect the game to go that long, but
yeah, we didn't either, don't worry.
Yeah.
Nobody did.
So yeah, maybe it will change a lot that the games are going way longer, but I mean, we were known from playing late game and coming back, so I think it's still an advantage for us, but we are still a new team. Like, we changed jungle support, we still have like 3 players, but we changed a big call, and yeah, we just need to work on that, and I'm quite sure we will be fine.
At the end of the day, you're still on the top of the standings, not the top. You're behind JDXL, so don't you dare sunk now with that face. You cheer up, you and your entire team, and I'll see you soon, Furuy.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you. I'm not allowing him to sunk again as he did in the spring split.
It was a great game.
It was an amazing game.
Like, it would have been a different story if that were like 50. If it was like 50 minutes of people just messing up over and over.
Yeah.
And maybe you can argue a little bit, oh, there's a bit in the mid game where maybe NYYRIKKI had a lead and they didn't know how to like efficiently close it. But that stuff is really hard to learn for one, especially when you have teams that are trying to adapt. Sometimes something is going to give, right, in terms of your macro. And we've seen that even in the very best teams of the world. Sometimes they don't actually know how to close out a game from the mid game. This kind of game takes two great teams and great performances to really make it happen. Not to like completely embellish everything, but this was actually a pretty great game.
Yeah, no, I think even you can obviously always, you know, at the very top level, you can make criticisms and be like, okay, but they were doing this, and this wrong. Great, fantastic. But at the end of the day, you're talking about, you know, a game 5 of the day, right? If we're just gonna look at it from a random perspective, looking at, you know, last game of the day, it's late, the game's going 50 minutes, it's a new patch. You're gonna make mistakes like that on occasion. And I think as well, another thing is players will always be hypercritical of their own, you know, craft, because that is just it's the nature of improving at the end of the day. So yeah, I think still it was a great spectacle that was provided by NYYRIKKI, by Bifrost, and it had. Like that 50-minute segment alone could probably provide us with a montage.
To me, that was a League of Legends game.
Yeah.
That was the pinnacle of today. Yes. There was someone in the green room walking in. Oh, are they throwing the game? Is that? I'm like, I'm going to throw my shoe at your face if you keep saying that. The game is amazing. Don't you dare. I know where you live. Actually, I know. So moving on.
Might be never to get on his bad side.
No, it's the play of the day. A lot of plays were the play of the day, but we have to pick one for MasterCard, and this is the one that I don't even know. This was an exciting day, so take a look. I can't even recall which one is it.
It's
one of them.
It's one of the mid lane.
You know what? I can't. Okay.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Oh.
It's from this game.
Yes, we could have picked about 7 from this game, to be honest with you. But this was the mid lane comeback where you'll see Bifrost end up losing out, and then.
It seems like it's a wrap.
It seems like this is the point where NYYRIKKI are gonna deny Soul a point, get Soul, and then it's all about Baron on the table. But it's all Odie, Fury, and Highway, right? Fury kind of checks in a little bit greedily, but he's got the stopwatch, doesn't get stunned up, and then just take a look at Odie and the bubble as well. That locks down Banderas, just allows them to move forward.
So the bubble's like one thing, but then like I really want to watch what Lucian does here. Like does a short E to get like the really quick auto reset. It's just very quick, snappy, in the moment mechanics, which seriously seal this out for Bifrost at that point. Of course the fights go back and forth after that point, but there's so much just concentrated mechanical outplay in that. It's really fun to watch.
I mean, even throwing the emote at the end of the fight as well. I mean, your IQ is above the average at that point. Your mechanical.
APM you got to do to press like T in the middle of your.
Yeah, you're finding. Oh, I got 5 of them. Boop. White flag. There you go. And this is how you show dominance inside of the game. One of the players of this game that can show that real case on this entire massive, not fiesta, but beautiful game. Now on to the standings. We need to know how this affected JDXL. Isolated at the top of the standings, followed up by Astralis Talent, Bifrost, Dusty, and Vanir. On the other side, M&M Gaming are going to take first place on Group B, as we call it. It's not a Group B, by the way, it's just a joke. NYYRIKKI, Riddle Esports, X7, second to last, and then Team Singularity still struggling to find their first victory.
I kind of do it as a bit of a joke now.
Okay.
But, you know, an academy team like XL, or, you know, historically X7 in first place, SNG in last. Perfectly balanced as all things should be, it feels like, in 2022. I mean, yeah, nothing is really too out of place with the exception of X7. I feel like most of our expectations are kind of met.
But then, like, again, there's so much upheaval just in this week. I think that even from this last set of games, I think we saw some pretty large changes from even just the first couple of games. Like, I don't want to be the analyst which doesn't decide anything and sits on like zero opinion, but that's exactly what I'm doing because it's so hard to pin these teams down.
I mean, at the end of the day, we are, you know, we're coming out of day 3, right? So it's still very early to start like drawing conclusions. Yes, we can probably, you know, decipher the teams which are likely to be in the top half of the table or things of that nature. But
maybe the better way to phrase it is like, what's the biggest surprise so far? So for me, I actually think Dusty are my biggest surprise in a lot of ways. I thought they'd be good. I didn't think they'd be as good as they were.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe M&M, they're up there.
So I think like M&M's potential ceiling after what we saw from X7, obviously there's the argument of, well, X7 seemed to be slumping a little bit. How much of that was, you know, X7 just not being used to, you know, the stage after not really having that much time to practice with that particular roster. And M&M kind of capitalized on it. Teams like Veneer as well. There's still a lot of unengaged teams, Riddle as well.
I'm going to do a cyan move and call you cowards as I'm going to look into the camera. To me, the hot take is that this is going to be exactly as the previous split.
All right.
And it's going to take us until the last day to lock in playoffs.
I will give you at least one. It's kind of lukewarmish.
Come on, give me something.
I think M&M will make playoffs for the first time since they've been in the NLC.
There you go. Slap that.
I think
there you go.
I know it's not like the boldest prediction ever because it's only.
It is a prediction.
It's only top 6, but at the end of the day, I think this version of M&M could actually finally make playoffs for the
There
organization.
you go. Thank you. I hope next one.
I will one-up you. NYYRIKKI are making playoffs.
Oh, okay.
NYYRIKKI are making playoffs.
Now we're talking about it. Woo, okay, week 2, day 4. We need to look into the games we're going to have. Are they going to be as spicy as today? X7 versus Vanir. Good start on the one. JDXL versus Astralis, the top 2 teams. Bifrost versus Dusty. Singularity versus NYYRIKKI and M&M versus Riddle. Oh, man, this is like a script. This is way too good.
This is. Keep on reading, Archie. Keep on reading.
I'm done.
How did you do it? Okay, this is a banger day. There isn't a single bad game on here. Veneer look really scary. X7 look like they're on the rise. JDXL and Astralis Talent are both, in my opinion, so far. Yeah, like this is a good benchmark game for both of these teams. Dusty and this is another great.
That's your blockbuster. That's your title card.
This is like our grudge match of the entire of the split because Team Singularity and NYYRIKKI are literally fighting to not be last place. And of course, we have to remember relegation's in play this split. So like. When we're talking about lose. Yeah, you can't lose. That is very, very important.
I mean, that's also the development battle too.
Yeah.
Because like we do need to check in with that every so often and be like, okay, these are teams that were stone dead last at the start of the year. How are they actually starting to move onward for that? In terms of story stuff, I think Game 4 is pretty good. Game 3 is obviously the blockbuster, but then obviously you got the last game, which you were already talking pretty okay about.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, especially how highly I've been speaking of Stefan, because I think he has been performing really, really well. I've always looked at Soph as, whenever he's been in the NLC, he's typically been on the top end of individual performances for junglers. I think this is also a very good benchmark for him as an individual, but also I think for M&M, we've seen a very high ceiling. We've also seen a very, very low floor. Are we getting the same M&M from like past, where we get sort of spring split M&M, where we've seen them, go with the likes of that very, very strong X7 roster? Obviously, this time they actually bested this iteration at the very least. Or are we gonna get, Monk mid-levels of M&M?
Every single game of this day is going to be amazing. So don't you dare miss any of these.
Nope.
If you miss it, I'll find you and I'll feed in your account. I'm just letting you know. Remember, Division 2 is going to start tomorrow as well, so don't miss any single game. Tune in on the same channel and follow NLC at every single social media that you can. We love you very much. We're going to see you tomorrow on Division 2 and Wednesday for Division 1 as well. So keep playing. Love this new patch and good luck on those ranks. I'll see you soon.
Don't play Lulu.
Play Ari with Everfrost.